coffee. We're not in the van. We're in the Innovation Centre. Thank you, Ferrum Innovation Centre. And today I'm joined by the illustrious Emily Ball.
Oh,
illustrious. I love that word.
It's a very, very nautical word, isn't
Is
it?
it? Fancy. So Emily is with me today. Emily is one of my clients and very successful business owner locally. But tell us a little bit more about what you're currently doing and what you're moving into.
So, very exciting actually. So I set up my clinic about 7 years ago, and it's now grown to a place where I've got a team, which has given me the freedom to be able to support other clinic owners, which I think is really important right now because we've been through a lot over the last 18 months with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would like to help people with is building robustness and resilience so that they can weather the storms of a very uncertain future that we all face.
Yeah. And it's quite an interesting shift change, I think. It's kind of, you've had quite a number of years of experience in this and, you know, weathered the storm, highs, lows, team building, all of that piece. And now you're kind of channeling that now just to help others, which I think is...
Yeah, I want to give back. I mean, I've had coaching myself. Mm-hmm. I'm very fortunate that I've been part of a mastermind group of amazing practice owners across the UK. And we've supported each other throughout COVID. And I just feel that there's a lot that I can now do for other people that are maybe experiencing issues in their own business, their own healthcare practice.
And one of the things that strikes me in working with you is that you talk a lot about tribe.
Yeah.
And people. And it seems to me that that's absolutely the heart. Like even what you've just said, I want to help people, like I want to give back. Tell me a little bit about tribe and what that means to you.
Tribe. So I have tribe. My tribe is people like you. So the people that I not work with, but I hang out with, that share the same values and the same ideals, and they fundamentally have the same principles that I have. And they bring out the best in me. And it's the same with my team. I've always tried to recruit people that align with my vision and my values and the way that I run my practice. And we've cultivated an amazing group of people in Active Step that are all on the same bus. You know, they all sort of share in everything that we believe in. And that has created an enormous amount of strength, especially through the rocky times.
And I think kind of even what you're touching on there, kind of about values and things like that, I'm guessing that this is one of the things that will come through when you're helping other people with businesses and looking at their own journey and maybe how they can be more specific. Because I'm guessing if you put your value net out there, you get that talent who all sing the same hymn sheet and then it is the strength, like you say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm writing a book at the moment and it's about how to build a robust and resilient healthcare practice. But the whole of part one is dedicated to robust foundations. And the foundations of any business, not just healthcare practice, is having a clear vision, a clear mission, how you're going to get to your vision, and clear values and how you're going to conduct yourselves every day and how you're going to operate as a business. And values create culture. So if you've got strong values, you'll have a strong culture. And culture is what drives success in a business. So without those key ingredients, you're almost setting yourself up for a lot of hard work and a lot of risk.
And one of the things that I really enjoyed that you sent me recently, because I've just taken on a new member of staff, terrifying and amazing, but you sent me your, like, was it a manifesto or something like that? Yeah. What was it called?
We call it the Active Step Charter, and it's quite a long list of expectations which we send to people. It's normally integrated into our job adverts, but it's certainly sent to any interviewees before they come for second interview. And what this charter details is how we do things here. And if somebody isn't comfortable with the way that we do things here, and it includes our values and expectations and all that kind of thing, then they're probably not going to be a good fit for us. So we use it as a filter. So our values are not just something that sit on the wall. And I think certainly in corporate culture, and we've all experienced corporate culture at some point in our lives, I expect, the values are something that were made up by management and chucked on the wall of reception for all of the clients that walk in to see. But what values really should be are integrated into your daily practices. Everything from your interviewing process, your appraisals, your weekly one-to-ones, your monthly meetings, when you're dealing with complaints. Everything should measure up to your values. In our case, it's a charter of expectations that reflect our values. So that's what that is.
So key as well for branding, about that value piece. And because I always say to people, what are your values or what are your business values? And they'll start listing things that they don't really actually do. But I'm like, prove it. Tell me how in your life and your business you do these every day. Just naturally, almost naturally occurring. I think sometimes in business people can try and create something they want to be, but really you just got to rest on the epicness of what you already are, don't you?
And I think when you're creating your values list, you do have to dig deep, but you have to apply meaning. You have to give those values meaning so that people can use them as examples of how to, as I said, conduct themselves or behave. Otherwise, they're just words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like fuzzy words.
So when is this book coming out? Tell us about this.
Oh gosh, it is a work in progress. And I'm enjoying every moment of writing it. It's really helped me learn a lot about myself, actually. But it's due out in the spring.
Okay.
And then hopefully another book the following year. So the first book is about building robust principles and practices into your business to set it up for success. And then the goal of the second book is about making your practice resilient so that it can bounce back during times of crisis.
Wowzers. I love it. I love it. And I think we speak quite a lot, don't we?
We do.
Almost daily. We're obsessed with each other. But I was just going to say, you read a lot of books, don't you? And you kind of take a lot of sources and information, you really apply it to your life. And I have to say, fair on you, because I often read things and I just blow out my head and I'm like, oh yeah, there was that thing once I was going to do and apply. So what, for the watchers, would you say is maybe a key thing you've read recently or you've applied to your business and a real key takeaway?
The first thing that I would say is you need to, don't just read for the sake of reading. I normally read a book that is meaningful to the point in which I'm at. So when I was building my team, I read books about building a tribe. So Tribal Leadership was one that I read. I read a book by Tony Hsieh, which is called, Happiness or something like that. But those books were very important to the point that I was at. And that's why I was able to apply them. I think if you just read for the sake of reading, those theories and applications can get lost. But yeah, think about where you are now. What is the one thing that you're struggling to move forward from? What's the biggest hurdle that you're facing right now? And find some useful material that's going to help you overcome that, as well as learning from your peers, of course.
Absolutely, and I think they always say, don't they, that you should always just ask someone who's done what you want to do.
Delivering Happiness, that was the book.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you should always ask someone who's been and done what you want to achieve and be like, what can I expect? What are the roadblocks? Which is exactly what you're planning to do with your coaching and your mentoring and your book, is be like, I've walked these steps, here's the help you need in those next steps.
And I think sometimes there's a bit of confusion around what coaching and mentoring is. Mentoring is me giving examples and support based on my experience of having walked the walk, like you just said. And coaching is actually asking people coaching questions to help them discover the answers themselves. So there's quite a distinct difference between the two. And I want to be able to help people with both, becoming better leaders and finding the answers themselves, and also how to overcome some of the struggles without having to make all the mistakes that I made along the way.
Well, darling, I love it. I'm into it. And just on the book thing, actually, I just was sent a book by a lovely business connection of mine, and it's called Radical Candor. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's by a lady called Kim Scott, and she talks about leadership. And for me, having just employed someone, it's really useful in terms of kind of that thing. But I'm always ever learning from you also, I have to say. I'm like,
thank you.
What did Emily say? Write it down. So thanks so much for joining
queen.
me. Yeah, absolutely, you are. She's such a quote queen. The other day I posted something on her social media and she told me it was the wrong author. And I was like, how do you know? She's like an encyclopedia of like leadership quotes. It was hilarious.
Well, it's been over many years, trust me.
Yeah. I don't know how you keep it in your head, mate. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And thanks to the Innovation Centre as well for letting us
Yeah, it's great.
steal
Great
this
space.
little room. Thanks, darling.